Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Nichols from runEVrun here in the Tomball Spring, Texas area. And it's a nice afternoon. It's kind of cloudy, kind of cool, but it's a beautiful day. And may it always be like this, a beautiful day. Whether it's raining, snow, sunshine, it's always beautiful. But it remains that so long as you and I do our part to make it stay that way. So, I listened to a few YouTube videos about, renewable energy and EV vehicles, electric vehicles, and things like that. And some of the questions that some of the people are always asking is, well, what is it that keeps you from, getting an electric vehicle, getting an EV, a Tesla, a Bolt, a Leaf, BMW, whatever? What is it that keeps you from getting an EV? Is it fear? Is it finances? Is it the fear of the unknown? That's what I meant when I said fear. Fear of the unknown. And to me personally, I think it falls down to two things, maybe three. One, fear of the unknown. Fear of what a new lifestyle would mean, what a new type of vehicle would mean to the person, to you, to me, to whoever. What does it mean? How different is it? Because, truth be known, a lot of people are afraid of change. They don't believe in the concept of change is good. They believe that, change is not good. They believe that status quo, the way things have always been, at least in our lifetime, is the way it should stay. I think that's what really a lot of people think and believe, And let me adjust this camera just a hair here. Excuse my finger. I should have done it from the other side. Too late now, huh? Anyway, sorry about that. But it seemed like I was just staring at the top of my head in my camera here. But anyway, that's what I think a lot of people is. They just don't want to change, A lot of people that are near and dear to me are the same way. They don't understand change, the way things have always been for the last, their 100 years, their whole life, things they learned. They think that that's the way it should stay, and they really don't want to accept the fact that things are changing, There are people that are close to me that I try and talk to about, climate change and, how the world is changing in general. Some for the good, some for the bad. But, I'm not a pessimist by nature. I believe I'm more optimistic than anything else. And so whatever things that are going on in the world, I think that we can make it better, People can get along. Even though right now majority of people are doing their part to make the world a worse place by driving their gas and oil cars and their diesels and things like that. We can still make a change. We have to open up our minds to a new reality. Okay, and that's what it really amounts to. Is fear of the unknown. When I tell people that are close to me or friends or colleagues at work, I say, well, the world's changing. There's climate change, there's sea level rise at the moment. And they really don't want to accept it. They nod their head and say, yeah, I agree. But other than the fact that when I'm talking, they ain't talking about it. They're not doing anything about it. I've shown people, my car and stuff, taken for test drive. Other than that, they never talk about it. I never hear another peep out of them. And people just don't want to believe. Just like certain leaders, of our country, certain leaders just are in denial about certain things, or they but in reality they're just looking out for themselves, and maybe that's what a lot of people are, is looking out for themselves, because to put themselves into debt, to get another debt, is kind of defies logic in a way. But me, I'm not patting myself on my shoulder, nothing like that, but I decided that, I don't want to contribute any more than I have to the destruction of the world. So that's, excuse me. So, get a drink of water here. So that's why I went out and got me an electric vehicle. Doesn't have great mileage, but I can get to where I need to go, and throughout the day and stuff, and just charge at nighttime. Put myself a little bit in debt for that, and now I've, as you see in my previous videos, I had solar installed on my house, and sometime this week or next, hopefully, maybe turning my system on. I could actually do it, but then CenterPoint, who kind of controls all the cables and the wires and the poles and things like that, they noticed pretty quickly that I had a system on that wasn't authorized, so I'm not going to do it. But I'm kind of like anxious to get it going, and start seeing results one way or the other, so I can report to y'all just how it's working. How much am I paying a month just to buy the equipment? How much am I actually paying for any electricity? But we'll see. I'm saying most of that talk for the next video, or whenever I get my system turned on. So, what would be another reason that people wouldn't get an electric vehicle or go solar? I can't really think of any logical reasons, because, fear of the unknown, fear of what you're getting yourself into. Some people near and dear to me, I'm not going to mention any names or who they are, but people that I know real well, they say, well, you watch this YouTube stuff all the time and you just believe anything that you see on YouTube. Well, I think that I'm smart enough to discern between what's basically real and what's scientific fact and what's a bunch of baloney, a bunch of BS. And I don't believe I'm wrong about solar energy and renewable energy. I don't believe I'm wrong about sea level rises. But you have to learn. You have to open up your mind and your eyes and pay attention to what you're paying attention to. But the way my response kind of is like, well, how much TV do you watch? You watch it all the time, don't you? You get home from work and you clean up, and then while you're eating, and then the rest of the night until you go to sleep, you're watching TV. So you believe everything you watch on TV? A lot of it's garbage, but some of it's supposed to be factual. But the point is, you're watching TV, I watch YouTube. Same thing, you get info. It's whether you're using your discerning mind to get the facts from the fiction. So YouTube is the new media, one of the new forms of media, and a lot can be gained from the information that's shared. You look at regular TV, and they don't really sit there and talk too much about climate change, except on a day-to-day basis. It might rain tomorrow, it might snow tomorrow somewhere in the world, and that was a Dodge slowing down. I don't know if he's looking at me or what, but anyway, he's going on down the road a little bit. But I couldn't really finish that grain of thought, because I didn't know where to go with it. But when you look at the world, you look at scientific facts. Okay, the world is changing. The sea level is rising right now as we speak, and there are places, they're talking the sea level rise as much as 8 feet by the end of this century. And the end of the century is only 80 years away. You know, that's like, you know, in the middle of if you have a daughter or a son and they have kids, it's in the middle of those kids' lives that they'll really see the results of what we're talking about now, you know. So it's you know, you gotta look at. Well, I mean, another thing that I think I already mentioned this in one of my previous videos, recent videos, but people are worried more sometimes about how things look. What do people think of them, you know, than what's good for you. I was talking to a pastor one time about some health things, and I told him about a breathing exercise that's supposed to help, you know, make you more alert, make you a little bit stronger, and keep the allergies away and other things like that. And I says, because I've been doing certain things for 3 years now, and I haven't had any allergy attacks and stuff like that, except for when I quit doing the breathing exercise. But that's another thing. That's not nothing to do with this here. Point is, this pastor told me people would think I was crazy, and I believe what you're saying, Dave, but people would think I was crazy if I started talking about things like that in the church. And, you know, what am I going to say, you know? And he's probably right. But, you know, isn't part of being a pastor and the leader of the church is to lead people down the right path, not just with spiritual salvation, but with body salvation, with health salvation, teaching people the right way to live? And isn't the right way to live taking care of your body, which is supposed to be the temple of God, the Holy Spirit? And by extension, isn't the world the same thing? I mean, after all, you know, if you believe in God, then God made the world. And it's a holy place where His creation lives. So, what are you really saying when you say, well, what do people think of me? What I think they'll think is that you being the leader, you're leading us down the right path. Unless you're Jim Jones or some other crazy person like that from out of the past, you know. But, you know, it's your job to sit there and teach the flock the right way. And being healthy is the right way. Saving the world is the right way. And I'm going off on this tangent like I do a lot of times. But, you know, the point is fear of change, fear of what people will think, you know. I tell people and talk about people all the time about my car and how good it is, how it serves all my needs. And I'm not contributing to lung pollution like all their cars are, you know, all your cars. And mine, I got a couple of gas vehicles too, so, you know, I'm not totally innocent, you know, and lacking culpability and all that stuff. You know, I still have my 2 gas vehicles, ICE vehicles, you know, internal combustion engine vehicles. I still got 2 of them, but I'm working on getting rid of it. You have them, you know. But you got to think about what's more important. What are people thinking and looking at you like, or what to think about you, or is it more important to help save the world and help save people's lives? You know? Think about that the next time you're driving down the road and all the cars around you are spewing out gas and oil and fumes and things like that, and you're breathing it. And you got a baby in your back seat. That baby's breathing it too. You may not notice it, but your baby is breathing that crap, as I am and everybody else, you know. So just think about that, you know. What's more important, you know? Get over your fear of change. Get over your fear of what people are going to think about you, and do the right thing. Pay attention. Open up your eyes and pay attention to what's really going on in the world. Do some research. Find out what the climate scientists are saying, the climatologists are saying. Look at different parts of the world and see where the sea rise is actually happening. You know, it's happening right here in America. It's happening in the Florida Keys, little by little. It's happening up near Maine, a little by little. And I don't remember if I told you this, but I was watching a video one time about this guy who was, you know, I believe in what he was saying was true, that where he used to stand, he was almost waist deep in water, and he said, and he was like, you know, 50 years old, 60 years old, and he said that when he was a kid, he used to play baseball out in that field, and now all you can do is go swimming or fishing or wading, but there ain't no dry ground. So it's happening right here in America, and it's happening elsewhere. It's happening in Italy, other places that are low to the ground. People here in America are already starting to talk about, little by little, people are starting to think about building dikes, and like what the Dutch have done, you know, when they had to build dikes to keep the sea back. People are already starting to think about that here in America. People are talking about it already, and to do any, keep any large amount of ground free from inundation, from floods, is going to cost millions of dollars. So I'm just saying, hey, you know, let's pay attention, you know. Anyway, that's just my thought for the day. It's Monday. I want to get this video out today, and hopefully the next time you hear from me, hopefully I'm getting my system turned on, but we'll see. But anyway, if you haven't seen my two videos, it's part 1, part 2. It's episode or video log 25, part 1 and part 2. It's all about my solar system installation from the beginning almost to the end. The end is actually when they turn the power on. But other than that, the installation of everything is in part 1 and part 2. And you like this hat? I do. Green for go green. And it says right there, runEVrun, which is my my company. And so anyway, if you want one of these hats in different colors, you can always email me at runEVrun-2019 at gmail.com, and I'll put that email in the link below. And anyway, hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. And if you liked what you heard, give me a thumbs up. If you thought what I said sucked, give me a thumbs down. And you can always subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. And so, just remember, run, EV, run. Thank you. Bye.